what Julia has accomplished is something that got my attention. Got my attention immediately when we started discussing. And this is not going to be the first. This is not the first time, and it's definitely not going to be the last time you are going to get involved with things that we do together. Why? What she managed to create together with her team and with the 100% backing of your leadership team, you've managed to bring a brand like Citizen that had 250,000 healthy impressions on a monthly basis to 110 million impressions on a monthly basis just in the space of 2.5 years. Now, I want to know how the sausage is made. And so I start asking a lot of questions as how did you source your content? Where did you get your content from? How do you know what works and what doesn't? What about the governance? And question after question after question. So I think
there are a lot of questions.
Yeah, our prep call probably was supposed to be 15 minutes, ended up being almost an hour, which is typical. And so thank you for being here.
Of course.
Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Julia. I run marketing right now at the Citizen app. A lot of you guys in the audience have probably used the app. About 1 in 3 New Yorkers have downloaded Citizen at some point in time. You'll know Citizen as the app that sends you the notifications about what's going on around you. There's a fire, there's an accident. We are incredibly popular in the consumer world. We're number 4 on the App Store right now in free apps. And we have, tens of millions of downloads throughout time. And we're going to talk a little bit today about the marketing engine I built at Citizen. For a very long time, the company was product-led growth, so a ton of word of mouth. And over the past 2 years, when I took over the team, we built a marketing engine that combines organic marketing, creator marketing, and now paid ads that we've layered on this past year to have a really efficient growth engine. And I'm super excited. So thanks for having me.
And everybody should be in. Just take down notes and chase her whenever she's done after this, because she's a fountain of knowledge when it comes to orchestrating content in a very, very smart, scrappy, yet, solid, very, very solid way. You probably know by now who I am. I'm Fede. I am responsible for growth of Mint AI in the United States. Mint is a platform designed for media operations specifically. CMOs and agencies use it to collaborate better. And they use it for reporting purposes as well, especially when you have either a ton of agencies and you have to consolidate your data, or when you want to align your data with sales, for example, and things like that. We are, in a nutshell, geeks when it comes to operations and data specifically for media. I'm also professor at NYU, specifically in artificial intelligence applied to marketing, and so this is truly my passion. This is why I love doing this. I know that we have a little video, if I don't remember incorrectly.
We have a video.
Are you responsible for you taking the picture over there? Are you responsible for launching the video, or? You see, I got you there. You can do that. You can do that. Perfect.
Well, yeah, we have a little video today just on Citizen. So I think the brand that we have is very different than the app that you guys might know. And over the last year, 2 years, we've really worked on tightening that. So this clip will just show you some of the real world impacts that Citizen has. It's really a life-saving product. It alerts people to emergencies before they even know they're happening via, ingestion of 911 police radio. And we'll show you a little bit of our brand moments, and then we'll dive into the marketing org.
I was kind of taking for granted that everybody knows about it.
Woohoo.
Now, I know we have a ton of questions that have to do with going into technical stuff about content, but first of all, I want to ask you, how does it feel to work for a company that you believe in and does what it does?
It's an incredibly mission-driven business. We always say we just started off as a mission-driven app, and over the last few years, we've really turned that into a money-making business. So there's been an evolution, definitely, but we save lives every day. This is in our product experience, this is in our brand, and this is really leads back down to the marketing org as well, because the principles that we use at Citizen for speed and efficiency really have trickled into how we've built the marketing engine that we're going to dive more in today. It's incredible, and I hope that everyone gets to experience, working at a place that has a true impact on people's lives every single day. It makes the quality of your work need to be, 10x higher.
Love it. Now, digging a little bit into the content side of things. First of all, where did you come up with the idea to organize the work the way you did? Organize your work?
So when I think about the growth engine we've built at Citizen, I think about it in visually as a rocket ship with 3 engines on the bottom. So there's the organic growth engine, then we have our creator engine, and then we have our paid engine. When I joined Citizen, we were largely running a paid team. And that can get really expensive as you reach very large, ambitious goals as a company to grow to extreme levels. And I said, in order to make our overall CAC lower throughout time, we need to really invest in organic growth. And so we started taking the real-time content, the thousands of user videos that are distributed on Citizen every single day, and pulling them onto social media in near real time. So someone shoots a video of a fire, and I have, a team that's strapped with AI sourcing that video from our internal systems and distributing it as quickly as possible on social media. And this is happening now almost 24/7, 7 days a week. And we operate in an interesting world where we now have, thousands of pieces of content a month going up all across multiple platforms. We're looking at a high volume social media strategy on the organic side. And it has, in the last year, we've gone from 250,000 monthly online impressions to this month we're doing over 100 million monthly impressions.
And how do you decide the prioritization? Why am I asking this? It's not just about what's going to make the biggest buck for the action, but it's really much how do you decide who gets visibility and who doesn't? Because these are all emergencies to an extent.
That's a really good question. So oftentimes there's levels of severity and also location for each of these videos. So one, we have our main Citizen app Instagram channel that goes out to, people from all across the world who follow us. We also have market segment channels. So we have a New York City channel. Great. Probably people in New York City follow that. We have one in LA. Great. Probably people in LA follow that. There's also national and international stories that we, report on. A really good example was, the CEO murder that happened in New York City this week. We're reporting on that constantly. But also there are, qualities in these videos that are eye-catching to people. Malibu fires happening right now is a good example. You're watching thousands and thousands of acres burning. And to take that user-generated content or even the creator engine. So I have creators now in every single city, professional, on the ground videographers going and capturing what people need to know about emergencies in real time. I have them going now, around the country in every major market. So when you take these videos and you put them online, it's really what is captivating to the end user. And I think, we have a recipe that works now. And it really is all about the drama in the video.
Well, of course, because that gets the attention, but at the same time, that also solves the situation because you're not trying to sell dog food in the sense that you're just showing the reality.
Exactly.
Now, in your line of work, one word that I could think is compliance. How do you avoid panic, for example? And because this is very, very dangerous content. And how do you first answer that, Dawn? I have a series of questions,
So we have a multi-layer checks and balances system at Citizen that we take incredibly seriously. The way Citizen operates, and this is just for context, so we kind of are all on the same page here, is we ingest police and fire radio from all over the country. That means when you make a call into 911, we ingest, the aftermath of that telecommunications, which is police and fire communicating with each other to go to the scene of the emergency. And the reason that we do that is because we can then alert people before, those first responders even get there. They have sort of a heads up to take action and keep themselves and their families safe, really tying back into our mission there. But our checks and balances system is incredibly important. So we have an AI layer that ingests all of that. Then we have humans that review that information. On the marketing side, I have an AI layer that picks it up. And then I have a human that checks it and makes sure it's posted. So unlike probably a lot of people sitting in this room, we don't have a content calendar. I can't go myself and verify every single piece of media that is being pushed on our brand socials. And these are, we have a huge brand. So there's definitely risk involved, but what I think AI has done for us is really streamline the compliance. I look at AI as, like I said, a layer in our checks and balances that makes me comfortable that, our brand tone of voice is being followed, that the correct videos are being posted. But I will say there is a lot of content on Citizen that is not appropriate for platforms due to their regulations and guidelines. Like TikTok is incredibly restrictive. And we're not posting a lot of content that really could keep people safe on there because, it would violate their guidelines.
I see. I understand. Now, from your perspective, have you found yourself in a situation in which the product team pushed some content to you and you felt like it was a little bit too much from a marketing perspective?
I say no all the time. That is part of my job. I am very good at saying no, and so is our risk department.
So you're your own compliance team within the company.
I say no a lot, but it might be for a few different reasons. Maybe I don't think that video is appropriate for our socials. Like, I don't want to push something that I don't think is going to do well and perform well. We have so much content going up, and it really hits people's feeds. Like, if you follow Citizen, this content will show up in your feed every single day because of the volume that we're distributing. So I want to make sure that when you're interacting with our brand, it's worth your time. So there are multiple reasons I might say no. Maybe it's because I don't feel like the video works with our, off-platform brand. Maybe it's because I don't feel like the type of content or the story is interesting enough to users. So I'm trying to deliver to you on our social media the top content from Citizen from around the world. Whereas our app experience is hyper-local. You're knowing exactly what's happening next to you in any given moment in any major city.
Because of the tracking with the police radio and all these kind of things.
And because we have your location. So, part of our app experience is having your location so we can alert you in near real time about emergencies.
There was something very interesting that when we were discussing, I kind of grabbed on, and it was on the content that you have generated locally by the content producers. Obviously, you have to spend decent money, but at the same time, you had a very clever way of sourcing the right writers, the right people. And this is something that in marketing we all do quite a lot of, in the sense that we look for voices of authority, influencers and stuff like that. In your world is a little bit different because it's a lot faster, it's a lot, let's say, less curated. And is there a story that people in the audience that were perhaps a established brand that have to go through a perhaps more rigorous process or different process from yours that can learn from you in the way you source these talents?
Sure. So I think I'll talk a little bit about our creator program, which is what you're referring to. Yeah. It's a program I built 0 to 1 at Citizen, and we've since scaled it, the 1 to 10 style. But when I looked online and I saw our competitors, which is, let's say, New York Post, CNN, et cetera, I said to myself, what are they doing? What are the videos that they're posting? And then I saw even, on the more hyper local page, like a New Yorkers or a What is New York, a Street People of Los Angeles, I saw that they had actually the best performing content in my vertical. And I said to myself, well, how do I get that? Because right now I'm getting a lot of user videos of police cars, but I actually want the 7-Eleven robbery or something that's really interesting to people, that's really getting people's attention, that are, huge, crimes that are happening, trends that are happening. People are, nervous about their safety. These creators were getting the best of the best videos. And it was a different process than how we acquire videos at Citizen, which is people shoot live on the app. These creators were having people send via DM videos that happen throughout the day. So maybe I'm What is New York, and I'm sure a lot of people here have seen this Instagram account. It's huge, millions of followers. He's getting all day long videos about things that are happening around the city. And I said to myself, how can I just interject myself in this process? I want these videos. I want to put them on Citizen. They're clearly better than a lot of the stuff I'm getting because the stat sig from social media was saying so. They're getting more views, impressions, engagement. And so I started partnering with these creators and I started purchasing content from them. So they get content from their followers. I buy it from them and I pay them not a fixed fee. I pay them based on performance. So I say, I'll put this on Citizen, and depending on how well this performs, I will pay you out. And then after I push it on Citizen, so I get to put it out first, we can co-collab on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and we can post it together. And this grew our channels beyond. Like when I took over the Citizen Instagram for an app that was 7 years old, it had 30,000 followers. We're almost at 300,000 followers now. And this is a lot because these creators that I'm co-collabing with, I'm purchasing their content, all of this, they have pre-existing audiences that are perfect for me. It's predefined people who like my content, who are, already communities existing online that are, ripe for user acquisition.
And you're giving them a way to monetize. So the entire ecosystem benefits from it, and they are enticed to, create better content more often, constantly be on the ball.
They've grown on Citizen too. So our creators, I made a deal with them at first. I actually had no money when I started this project. My CEO said, try and prove to me that there's product market fit here. I'm not giving you a budget. You have 2 months. And I was like, great. But we did. So I had no budget, and I brokered a deal with these creators where I said, give me your content. I'll link out to your Instagram or your TikTok or your Twitter, whatever you want, and I'll link it out to our users. And we'll see if you grow, and we'll see if I grow. And everyone was growing. And we were growing so well that, I unlocked a great budget. Now we have creators in every market in the US. It's truly incredible. And it's the best content on Citizen by far.
There is one thing that I think we can all learn something with this little with this different approach. We can try and test different things in our influencer strategy. I think because you've added a couple of interesting layers that are different from what I have seen in general. However, there is a point. Your CEO at the time told you that performance needed to be there, which leads me to my next question with the key performance indicators. What are your key performance indicators? How do you even decide? Do you have a framework for that?
So we do. So our key performance indicators as a marketing org have evolved over time and have gotten closer and closer to the core of our business. So of course, the core of our business is revenue. But maybe when I started and I took over the marketing team, it was views. Like I was looking at how many views can I get, off platform. And then over time, we built systems, checks and balances, indicators as to how that closely impacts revenue. And so it really, at any point in that sphere, as you kind of go out and out and out, you can look at multiple KPIs, whether it's views off platform. I can look at direct installs based on attribution links. I can look at, from a video I purchased, how many installs did that notification drive?
Do you actually use artificial intelligence to do that analysis, or is it something that your data team does in separation from the marketing team?
It's a mix. I think that when we're doing our own KPI analysis, we do use AI, but more in a consumer-friendly facing way. Like we'll use OpenAI to help us, analyze our performance metrics, this and that. Our data team, though, uses a lot of AI. And the reason is because, like I've said over and over, we're such a high-volume business, both on the content distribution side off platform, but also on the content distribution side on platform. We have so many inputs all day long. We have millions of people using this product. We have thousands of user videos. So you need AI to make this simpler. We cannot do this ourselves.
So this is probably one of the very few instances in which, over the last months of events, I've always seen artificial intelligence being linked to the creation of content, which is, of course, very noble, very interesting. But the way that you are doing it right now is more, AI is used more for efficiency, collaboration, analytics, not content planning. It's more like fast content prioritization. So you're bringing artificial intelligence in different areas, but nonetheless, these things seems like they're impacting the marketing team and the performance.
It's true. So we use AI for three big drivers: speed, volume, and quality. So I can move, and my team can move way faster at distributing content. We have a prompting system that's set up. We have an ability to review videos with AI that's set up. And we're just pushing content out all day long. So the speed is incredible. And the volume is also great. We've done over 600 different creative assets on our paid ad strategy this year alone, which is great. And then in terms of quality, it's consistency. Right? My brand tone, my tone of voice, my messaging is all going to be the same no matter who uses it because, like I said, our prompting is really locked in there. And, after a few years of doing this, we know what the right prompts are and what the right brand tone of voice is that gets the most views and impressions and engagement online for whatever we're looking to achieve.
I want to double click on this for a second because this is a journey that you started. So using AI for these three drivers, speed, volume, quality. You didn't wake up one day and say, this is what we're going to do today to conquer the world. It was more of a learning journey, right?
Exactly.
How did you start? How did you get the team together? Tell me a little bit about that journey.
So I started by, just like I said, reviewing the landscape of my competitors and just online and seeing what the winners were doing. So where were the impressions in my category going? And what did that content look like? And I looked at the creators I'm now working with. I looked at the biggest players in news and emergencies. I looked at other consumer products. Maybe it was a hardware product like a Life Alert or something. So I really looked at the landscape and I said, where are all the impressions going? And they were going to these real-time videos. I said, great, I have them. And I said, I want the best ones too. And I sourced them, just like we talked about. And then I tested myself. I was literally posting this with my own two hands saying, okay, great, is this going to go somewhere? It was going somewhere. And I said, okay, now I'm going to spend a little money. I'll offshore someone and see if they can do it too. And I gave them the AI prompting that I wrote myself. And I said, you can do this. It was going somewhere. Then we hired out a little bit more. The team is still small, but everyone can do the same process. And that's why the speed, volume, and quality is so aligned. It's so tight because of AI. It really streamlined everything.
Well, mind you, your team is not small. It's smaller. It's not
Smaller.
really small. It's smaller. Now I'm gonna go around and ask if you guys have any questions in the next couple of seconds. Where do you see scale coming from next in your business? This is there have been here and there a few questions that we didn't plan because you know how much I love what you guys do. So where do you think it's going? Because competition from TV or other news agencies is probably not going to catch up anytime soon for the next 25 years. So tell me a little bit about that. Where is scale going to come from?
I think that if Citizen continues to grow, our user video will power breaking news worldwide. We're seeing that right now on a micro scale in the US. We have, over 2,000 news pickups every single day. Actually, the last time I spoke on a brand Innovators panel, someone said to me in the audience that they were like, oh, wait, I've seen you on the news. I realize you're an app now. And so our user videos are on the news all day long justifying breaking stories. If our user base continues to grow, user-powered news and people-powered news is going to be the wave of the future. And I think that's kind of where we all want it to be, right? Like there's a lot of trust in knowing that someone on the ground shot a video of something that's happening that you need to know about for your safety.
When we were talking, I was thinking about in my General Electric healthcare days, where I was responsible for technology for the marketing and the sales team. And in the architecture and the data on how to empower people. And you helped me look at things in a different light, in the sense that if we could have involved more patients, some of the doctors, and not just the heads of. So what I would do right now different from our conversation, if I was still at that job on Friday morning or Friday afternoon when my head of compliance was already having her first spritz, I would probably try and find a way to A/B test some portions of the content. And this is something that I urge everybody to kind of try and do. Whatever nuggets of wisdom we hear here and there, let's not think about, oh, that doesn't apply to me because it doesn't apply to me. It's a different business. It's a citizen. No, we can all steal something. That's my point. We have 5 minutes to go, and I want to make sure that we all get a chance to ask questions, and it's not just about me. There is one over there. Oh, over.
I find this like a really provocative product, so I'm going to try and ask a provocative question.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I think we're 2 generations removed from my grandmother having the police scanner in the kitchen and be listening to what's happening in town. And we're 1 generation removed from watching Cops. And so what I want to ask you is, are human beings good or evil? Because am I coming to this because I'm trying to be safe, or am I coming to this because I'm a voyeur? And I feel like the data is now available and AI is there to analyze it. So am I good or am I bad?
Well, what did you think of my video?
I thought it was you trying to say that we're trying to save people, but when I look at the content, I'm tuning in because it's awful. Not awful, you know what I mean, but it's bad things happening in the world.
So when it's a life-saving emergency, if you're the one involved, it's critical. It's an emergency. To everyone else, it's news. And so when you're at the center of something and you need help from people, Citizen provides you with a network of a very dense network of people who can jump in at any time to help you. And we have examples. These are just 4 or 5. We have thousands of examples all day long. And so I think that when you give people information and they're able to, we've actually run tests that have said, hey, I need an EpiPen. Someone needs an EpiPen. Are you nearby? Do you have an EpiPen? Can you help? And we have users seconds, 10, 20, 30. I have an EpiPen. I can help you. So when you give people the tools to be better, we see that they are.
That is an awesome answer. Well done.
She passed the test.
Yeah.
I don't know how to follow that question, but
I have a follow-up to that question. First off, the app is awesome. I've been a user for like 5 years. I think it's the coolest thing ever. What's the relationship with the authorities? Like, how do they, are they supportive? Are they a hindrance? So I had to ask.
So we have good relationships, and we have more respect for authorities than, I would say any other company in the world. We think that they are, the bread and butter of our society, keeping people safe all day long. We have a tremendous amount of respect for our first responders, and we know that we need them, especially in a city like New York where, crime is on the rise. So we applaud our first responders, and we are here to support them and make their lives easier.
okay, yeah, this question, I'll bring it back to like data a little bit here, but instead of philosophy.
How dare you?
Yeah. So your content is like a lot different than a lot of the brand kind of marketing content we typically talk about, with a lot of UGC stuff, as well as your creator stuff that you're paying for. I'm curious about, do you struggle with, or what are the issues around rights and releases of what you can and can't do with that content, both for the UGC and for your content creation that you're buying? Do you have regulations on where, when, how you can use that content? And if so, does AI help with that at all?
That's a really good question. So any user video is shot directly on Citizen, and we own all the rights in perpetuity to that content. We have tens of thousands of videos for years on, breaking scenes. This is pretty incredible. I mean, you'll see Citizen mentioned in shows like Law and Order. It's like, oh, did you check the Citizen app? But that's a real life thing that happens where, these stories justify real life traumatic ongoing crime. So we do own the rights to all of that. And these user videos are really important. And our creator content is the same. So when I buy content from a creator, I am purchasing it outright to use however I please. We do take that, though, with respect, and we know that the creators have, a reputation online as well. And so we always make sure that when we broker deals one-on-one with creators, we, take into account any, special requests they have. Maybe I have a creator who is a professional stringer who says to me, hey, I'm actually not comfortable with my content being displayed on local news. And then, of course, I'll add some sort of, amendment in his contract to make sure that he's 100% comfortable with any distribution of his footage. Because ultimately, to me, I'm in a business of relationships, and I need these relationships to work because I need the content to grow the business. So I try to do what's best and what's right for our creators to make them happy and to keep them happy. We have, been running this program for 2 years now, and it's something to be very proud of.
So I lived on 57th and 6th for 4 years and had my first son there. And I had to delete the app off my wife's phone in the middle of the night because it was freaking her out.
I'm in trouble now.
It was person jumps off the building. We were next to Trump Tower. We're right near the Hilton. It's crazy. I appreciate, so it was just like an insane app to me of like just making people so anxious. Now that was so many years ago. How does one re-engage and pick and choose when you want to lean in and or just like, yo, shut off on the notification and like consumption side?
Well, first, congrats on your child.
He's 7. Who cares? Anyway.
Anyway, no. Well, I would recommend that you try, our app out again from a few years ago when you used it. So we're incredibly different now. We recognize that was, one of the faults of our product. Like I said, we're a high volume business, and the distribution of that high volume of content is incredibly difficult. We're not playing in an algorithm that's similar to like TikTok or Instagram where you opt into the experience. We actually just infiltrate your life. We're like, here's something happening. It's hitting your home screen. You need to pay attention. And we've done a lot of work using AI and ML to completely customize and personalize that experience. So now we have better insights into what's actually important to you and what to deliver you so that the content you feel is relevant. On top of that, we've added layers of customization and personalization of the product. So you can actually go and select now the notifications that are relevant to you that you want to receive. You can even go so far as to draw boundaries and alert zones around important places so you're literally only notified about what's happening there. So we've definitely, updated our app, and I would recommend trying it out again. Let me know how it goes.
And then a question from my friend Justin here. He just went over, he goes, how do you guys make money?
Really good question as well. So we have a great business. We are, we have a freemium model and 2 paid tiers. It's actually a very interesting model, and it makes doing stuff like Cactile TV very fun and all of that. But we have a free subscription, and we have a free tier, and then we have 2 paid subscriptions. So we have a $5.99 tier. We also have a $20 tier. With that $20 tier, you get access to privately trained, first responders, crisis managers. We have ex-Army people. You can call them, FaceTime them with the touch of a button. And those are the people who have helped find a lot of the missing people and pets that, we showcased here today.
So another thing is not for everybody, but the day you need it, it's like, why didn't I? Why didn't I? Hopefully we're not gonna need it anytime soon, but it will always be very helpful to have it in our pocket, I think, and I will manage my notifications perhaps a bit better in the future. So it doesn't give me any sense of anxiety, not that it does at the moment. What are the things that I have learned with you? I've learned that there are interesting ways in which I can source different types of content, that I can push boundaries with regards to what are my KPIs and perhaps focus a little bit more on speed, because if that is the currency that people are transacting right now, then perhaps my engagement should be based a little bit more on speed instead of this intellectual quality of content. Darn professors. Guys, we are probably about 4 or 5 minutes long. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.